What the? How did I get here? Why am I in a TV? Huh. And an old TV. Oh well. We are Team Tottenham Go. And I am your host, Rakdos Madness. And this is my first video. So, bear with me. I want to talk about today's match between Tottenham Hotspur and West Ham United. So, the game ended 1-1. It was not the best showing. It was up and down. The team played fairly well, but so did West Ham. And in fact, I would say that overall, with much less possession of the ball overall, they did better in the final third. They had more corners. They had, I believe, more shots. And I think they dominated in the final third. Their forwards and their midfielders did better when they had the ball. Tottenham had the ball a lot, but we were pretty wasteful. We started off like a house on fire. Ball goes to Werner. Werner goes to Johnson. Johnson puts it in. It looked fantastic. And that was just 4 minutes in. And I thought, wow, this is going to be amazing. We're going to dominate. And for the next 10 minutes, we did dominate them. Then something happened. And then all of a sudden, we didn't. And they came back and pressed and got corner after corner after corner. And finally, one of those corners, Zuma put it in. Off of his back, of all places. It was a goal. I don't think he intended to score a goal hitting it off of his back, but a goal's a goal. On the whole, the team did okay. This is who we have as our main group of players, our primary group. And I think we need to do better in the final third. We need to shoot a whole lot more. We can't keep passing it in the box, and then passing it again in the box, and then passing it again in the box. We need someone to just take some initiative and shoot the ball. It's okay if the goalie blocks it. It's okay if it goes a little wide. It's okay if it hits the bar. Just keep pressing. That is actual Ange ball. Ange ball includes shooting, and shooting a lot more than we are. And I don't know why we're so afraid. I get why Werner might be a little afraid, because Werner is notorious for choking when he kicks the ball to try to score. But I don't really understand why Son was, as expression says, synonymous. Brennan Johnson did okay. He just wasn't around much because we didn't play on the right side almost at all in the first half. And although Bentancur was creative, I don't know that James Maddison had the best game. He had an okay game, but if you watched his passes, they lacked a certain amount of conviction. They weren't always super accurate. And he just didn't have that something that he had in the first 10 games of the season. It looked like he's struggling a little. Now, as far as Vicario, I think Vicario might be to blame for the goal. To be fair to him, we didn't mark Zuma very well. Zuma was open, as was, I don't remember, there was someone else by the post who was also open. Our defense did not set up well for that corner kick. And I don't know if it was because it was like the second or third corner kick in a row and they got lazy, but they let the ball drop and they scored. And Vicario just stood there. He allowed Michail Antonio to get right up in his face and block him. And he needs to do better, getting him out of the way, jumping up for the ball. He didn't even track the ball. So I think Vicario has to shoulder some of that blame. But I think Pedro Porro did okay. Again, the first half, there wasn't a lot of play on the right-hand side, so he didn't have as much to do. But when he did have something to do, he did okay. But they did get past him a few times. Christian Romero was aggressive. I think he was trying to match aggression with West Ham's aggression. And it stood out more when he did it, because the rest of the squad in Tottenham were not so aggressive. Whereas Michail Antonio, super aggressive. Paqueta should have been yellow carded for his challenge on Maddison. And the rest of their team was just overall more aggressive. And I don't know if that scared our team. I don't know if it made us tentative, but it had an effect because it seemed like in challenges we weren't winning. We weren't so aggressive until maybe the last 5 minutes of the game. We really weren't that aggressive. We had a lot of possession of the ball, but again, I'll say again, it didn't amount to much. I'm a little disappointed. We did get a point, so I'm tempering my disappointment by the fact that at least we got a point instead of no points. We're starting to distance ourselves from Man United, which means we probably have 5th locked up and can still challenge for 4th. Assuming Aston Villa doesn't win tomorrow, then perhaps 4th is very achievable as opposed to somewhat achievable. And I think that Postecoglou made pretty good choices for substitutes today. He took Bentancur off. He was on a yellow. He put Sarr on. He took off Bissouma and he put Højbjerg in. I thought Højbjerg brought a certain amount of physicality that we needed. He brought in Lo Celso, took off James Maddison. Lo Celso really didn't do a whole lot, but to be fair to him, he didn't have a whole lot of time to do anything. He put Richarlison in, and he put Kulusevski in. Kulusevski did bring some physicality, but maybe it's just me, but when he runs, he kind of gallops, and you can tell he's huffing it. But he's kind of like a 6-cylinder engine, where he has some get up and go, but the V8s beat him out every time. And he just needs to be a little bit quicker on the ball. And his passes weren't that great. Sarr was a little bit physical, but again, I think the team as a whole, they looked almost defeated. And I don't know if that's because of the physicality or the rain or what, but our heads weren't in the game for 90 minutes. Our heads were in the game for maybe 25 minutes interspersed over the course of the entirety of the game. So my hope is that these guys get some rest. They get some practice in. They all get practice shooting. Vicario gets practice being challenged on corners, and that we go to Nottingham Forest and beat the pants off of them this coming weekend. Thanks. This is Rakdos Madness, and we are Team Tottenham Go.